corresponding death rate, we are a bit worse than other parts of the world. The annual average and the annual attributed death in the world is about 110 per 100,000. In our region, it's about 130. And thank you. Ready for questions? Should we introduce the other presenter and have the questions at the later stage, or let us have a round of 3 questions and then we'll see.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for the presentation. I'm with Dubai Municipality Environment Department. One thing I was interested in, when I moved to Dubai from another country, I found I was affected a lot by my ACs. I spend, like most people, more time indoors than outdoors. So can you comment, please, on the impact of indoor air quality on health?
I'm glad you are bringing this, because really, in the air quality estimates, we say that 90% of our time we spend it indoor. I think in such an environment, it's 100% of our life is in the indoor environment. The relation between the outdoor environment and the indoor environment is not quite well understood. And if we have people from universities and research academia, we need these figures. I've seen a study in Qatar saying that 68% of the dust in the outside goes inside, which means that we are not properly insulated as we claim. Most of the air pollutants from the outdoor environment comes into the indoor. What makes the picture more gloomy, that we have a lot of indoor sources of air pollution. We do smoke, we have shisha, we have bakhur, with all due respect. We have all the types of indoor pollutants. In a couple of cities of the region, the level of indoor air pollution was triple or even quadruple the level of outdoor air pollutants. I think we need to do it. We need to have snapshot analysis of really what's going on, its particular matter, and also other chemicals.
Sorry, if I could just follow up with another question. The comment that was made at the beginning when you were being introduced about action. So I think we already know intuitively, and with the data that we already have, that air pollution is a big issue. So, and there are some solutions even to dust in this region. Yet it seems like action is not following so quickly. What can you suggest as your organization in terms of what actions can be taken now? What steps can we take, especially individual behavior?
Yeah, the problem with the individual behavior, because this question is being coming to WHO quite frequently. I'm glad to say to you that next week, on 30th of October, there will be the first Air Quality and Health Conference, which will be held in Geneva. In that, there is a session actually on the behaviors and on the short-term solutions to exposure. I'm sorry to tell you that so far, for instance, we've seen in our video, or even the face mask, it's useless. Not much, is being spent globally. The levels of exposure in our part of the world put a lot of pressure on us that we need to do this research. We need to investigate. Like, I'll give you the purifier, for instance. The air purifiers that we are using in different environments, it was able to lower the level of air pollution by 30 or 40%. Still, the levels of air pollution are higher. And from the exposure functions that we've seen, health gains can only be noticed at the very low level. If we reach the level of 20 or 30 microgram per cubic meter. I'll share with you a joke. I asked a colleague of mine, she was sitting in New Delhi. She said, Mazen, the air purifier was able to download, to minimize, or to downgrade the indoor air quality from 400 micrometer to 200. At 200, still the level is very high. We are sponsoring a lot of research, and there will be a health advisory going from WHO what to do. This is what we are receiving from different countries, what to do in case of, there's as you rightly described, the long-term solutions, the public transport, controlling desertification, changing the behavior of people. Those should go with the short-term, let me say, solutions, like avoid air pollution, for instance, trying to convey health messages to those vulnerable, to the elderly. Like for instance, should I go and cycle during an air pollution episode, inhale more air pollution? What we are suggesting that the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Environment, all those sectors should be sitting together and trying to communicate to the public advisories on different aspects of air pollution.
Thank you very much. About the dust that the gentleman mentioned, that's a big problem really. And as I was proposed some years ago, we have toxic dust also, toxic material in the dust. So considering that the air pollution and dust, that we have a big problem here in Iran, I'm from Iran, we have big problem in the south of Iran. And the other toxic environmental pollutants that I work on them really. Is there any study about the synergistic effects of all these pollutants, because there are synergies between all these. And what we need, and really is a study about synergism about it. Is there any study about these things already?
Most of the cohort studies that are being sponsored all over the part, they study the one single pollutant along with different health outcomes. I know that there were a couple of studies trying to understand if we add two pollutants at the same time, what would be the health outcome, but they are not as reliable as the single pill, where mostly particulate matter is being studied. But again, whenever you have particulate matter, part of it is chemicals, part of it is toxic. Some way indirectly you will be measuring that, but I fully agree with you. Some research directions are going into this, trying to understand different aspects of not one single pollutant, but different pollutants.
Mr. Chair, we have a question from internet connection. Would you be willing to take one more question?
Yeah, let us have this and another question, because we need to give room for our colleague from Abu Dhabi to say about one set of those data, which is the air quality monitoring.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, the question comes from Swetha Koluri. And for the audience, this is being simulcast, and I'm not sure I know the numbers, but there are a significant number of people who are listening and asking questions. So let's just take one question, and it's a technical question. It says, could you please elaborate on the satellite data used for risk assessment of air pollution, and how to use the satellite data along with the air quality monitoring stations in the ground? So there is a lot of interest on the satellite side, and I'm wondering if you might have a comment on it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. A very interesting question, actually, because of lack of air ground-based data. Some data coming from satellites is coming directly to a model that we are maintaining in Europe, the QMS, I think, model. The data coming, from the satellites, mostly it's for particulate matter, and it's related to, linked strongly with the World Meteorological Organization and those parts, and is being calibrated by so many ground-based stations. At the moment, there are 11 of those just meant to calibrate the data coming from satellites. And as I told you, a couple of months ago, one station was installed in I think in Abu Dhabi. Thanks. Let me, just to make sure we are running out of time, Ms. Ruqaya from Environment Agency of Abu Dhabi, she's responsible for air quality monitoring, and she will be sharing with us a state of the art, let me say. I'm not sure if other parts of the world can afford those state of the art equipment, but that would be one set of data. Please.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ruqaya Mubwana, and I'm the manager for the Air Quality, Noise and Climate Change section of the Environment Agency. I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to talk about the work that we do in Abu Dhabi, Emirates. My presentation is about air quality management in Abu Dhabi, Emirates, and integrated approach. I'll be presenting in terms of air quality and air quality pollution, the drivers, the pressures, state of air quality, impacts, and the responses that we mount to that situation. First, I'd like to start with this illustration to kind of like explain the end part of this diagram, the air quality that we monitor, which is the air quality that we breathe in. Like you said, this is very important. We have to measure the relevant type of pollution, not at the street level, measuring cars, but what people in residential areas or in places of work, around places of work or schools are breathing. So as we know, air quality is a combination of natural concentrations, and within the context of our region, this is mainly natural dust from the desert or the desert areas around cities, PM mainly, human activities, industrial activities, infrastructure development activities, plus meteorological conditions, whatever those unique phenomena may be in our part of the world, and all this combined to give us the air quality that we measure. And to just reiterate what Mr. Mazen was saying, air quality does not have political borders. Pollution can be emitted in one place and travel long distances, affecting populations in other regions and countries. This is a key factor to keep in mind and take into consideration when we are coming up with management strategies. Pressures. I think the diagram says most of it. Natural dust events are a key pressure in this part of the world. This includes regional dust storms that may originate in other parts. So we could be affected by, for example, a dust storm originating in Iraq, come around, go to Saudi Arabia, come take a U-turn, come back into UAE and settles here. And this is what we monitor in our stations. There are also local dust events that may happen within just the emirate or just around the cities. And another pressure is industrial activities and transport. And of course, this is a factor of the rapid economic development that UAE as a whole has experienced the past few years. In terms of the state of air quality, in EAD, we focus on achieving the highest data quality standards. We continuously monitor air through an extensive network of 20 fixed stations and 2 mobile units, and these mobile units are deployed in those areas that we don't have enough coverage when we are called to look at specific emergency situations or complaints from the public. We use internationally certified monitoring methods and technologies. Our calibration laboratory for our network is an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory, and this is the only laboratory in the country that has this accreditation in terms of air quality monitoring, and I can almost confidently say in the region. So we've been measuring, monitoring air quality for about 11 years. In 2013, we doubled our network. We started with 10 monitoring stations, and we built another 10 stations. And one of the key additions to our whole network, in addition to doubling it, was installing our networks with PM 2.5 monitors. We measure data on a minute basis. We average on a minute basis, up to 17 air quality parameters and up to 6 meteorological parameters. So that is more than 950 million minute data points in our databases. And to us, this is a resource that we use to manage air quality in Abu Dhabi Emirate. It's a resource that we share with our partners at the local government and federal government to help them come up with strategies in other areas. And like Mr. Mazen pointed out, this is a multi-stakeholder issue, and the solutions have to be a multi-stakeholder solution. And this is also a treasure trove, so to speak, that we invite our partners and our stakeholders at the local level, at the federal level, regional level, international partners, to collaborate or cooperate with us in coming up with various aspects based on their various areas of expertise to look at this information and harness any untapped potential that this data holds. All our air quality monitoring data is available to the public on a real-time basis on our air quality web portal, and the public can access this information anytime. And one of the key outputs of this monitoring, this website, is the air quality index. So any member of the public can look at any station, wherever they may be, look at the pollutants that are being measured around where they are, what the levels are, and be able to tell whether it's green or yellow or red, and so on and so forth. So the public can make decisions about what kinds of activities they can participate in, and even the level of exertion that they should be participating in. In this website, we have schools also, and I see Ms. Gayatri, who started the Sustainable Schools Project in the Environment Agency, which is internationally recognized now. We have schools in Abu Dhabi that on a daily basis go to our website to take this raw data and carry on different types of environmental activities, workbooks, and so on and so forth, using this data and doing calculations to come up with environmental information about the areas surrounding the schools. And this is available. In fact, the way we usually know when our network is, our website is down is the school scholars. We also have athletic people who use our website to make the decisions of what kinds of activities to participate in. This illustration is an example of how we use this data. Like I said, we have a lot of data, and this is one of the ways that we transform this data into information, into knowledge to help our stakeholders, be they our management, our leadership, and other government agencies, to draw some kinds of conclusions from the data. Another thing I'd like to talk about, aside from our monitoring network, we have what is called, we started an e-linking initiative in 2008, where we signed a memorandum of understanding with 6 other network operators. And this was a strategic objective was to collaborate in data information sharing. And the aim of this was to enhance other networks' capabilities. We had worked for a long time on our network to bring our data quality to a certain level, and we engaged with other network operators to help them bring it to various levels. And the linked network has 54 stations as we speak, and we're linked to the National Center for Meteorology, and this is the Federal Meteorological Authority, the Dubai Municipality, the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, our network. ZoneScope is the industrial regulator in Abu Dhabi for monitoring industrial areas, and the Department of Energy. This was previously called the Abu Dhabi Water and Electricity Authority. They have a network that monitors the impact of their activities on different communities. So we have, all these people have access to the Environment Agency data, and we have access to their data. And we can also facilitate connecting whichever entities want to look at each other's data. And the key take-home message about this initiative, I believe, is each of these entities may be able to do a lot of work with their own network, but by linking with other networks, and they have access to a 54-station network, and they can leverage whatever synergies that this kind of network presents. And I think this is what collaboration in data is all about. If we want to do modeling studies, if we just use our network and our data, there are limitations. But if we want to look at border areas between emirates, we can leverage this network and collaborate in doing much more effective studies. In terms of inputs, I think Mr. Mazen has touched on that. I won't go too much into that. I think it's, like you said, the same all over the world. The disrupted transportation activities one is the one I'd like to highlight. For those of us who live here, we know how many times flights are grounded. You can't leave because you really cannot see. And And in terms of the kinds of actions that have been taken, I think this will answer the question from the gentleman from Dubai. In 2010, there was a project that was completed called the National Strategy and Action Plan for Environmental Health. And this was done as a federal project with all the key federal agencies and local government agencies. And one of the aspects was indoor air, and I agree. This is a huge issue, and like Mr. Mazen said, in other parts of the world, people may spend 50% of the time indoors. But in this part of the world, you're right, some people spend 100%. You go from your home into your car, from your car into your office, and the other way around. And one of the key issues, as you're saying, what can an individual do, is the whole air conditioning issue. Because what they say is people don't maintain air conditioning properly, and it ends up sucking in more air, more polluted air from outside to inside. You know, so there is information, we can talk about this later, that is available. Another aspect of our work that I'd like to highlight is that the efforts that we make in Abu Dhabi to improve air quality are cross-sectoral. And these include monitoring, which I have touched on, what we've done mainly, environmental planning, regulations, enforcement, science and research, and awareness. In terms of environmental planning, the work that we do in monitoring is aligned to all the key vision documents and strategy documents, and the data from our air quality monitoring stations drives a lot of the work that is done in this. We come up with high quality data that is used for establishing the baseline information, that is used for setting the targets, and that is also used for coming up with indicators. In terms of regulations, the data that we come up with is used to formulate sector-specific emissions regulations for industries, and in Abu Dhabi, we have these kinds of regulations for the major polluting sectors, power plants, iron and steel, and so on and so forth. The data is used for developing action plans to reduce emissions from heavy vehicles, and so on and so forth. So we collaborate internally, and we also collaborate with the stakeholders that are affected by this, using our data to come up with accurate information. In terms of compliance and enforcement, EAD sends its environmental inspectors to over 2,500 industrial, commercial, and development projects. And to achieve environmental compliance, EAD works with a comprehensive database and state-of-the-art inspection tools that rely on our high-quality data. And this is ambient air quality data as well as emissions inventory databases. And currently we have a pilot study at one of the power plants in Abu Dhabi, and we receive real-time staff monitoring data every 15 minutes into the agency. Again, this is an avenue that we've started work to see how we can use this as a compliance tool to monitor live some of the big emitters and take much more faster action. Another source of our data, aside from our monitoring network, is the Abu Dhabi Air Emissions Inventory. And we look at the criteria pollutants and also geographically distributed emissions in terms of what are the largest contributing sectors and where are the pollution sources from those sectors. And we use internationally accredited methodologies. So we just completed in 2018 an emissions inventory. And these are the areas, the sectors and subsectors that we collected our data from. And this data was collected directly from the polluters, as well as in workshops where we had capacity building in helping people know which data to give us and how to collect that data. So in other words, we have extensive data for all these subsectors in our databases. In addition to ambient air quality monitoring and the emissions inventory, we also do scientific research, and our key partner in the science we do is the Norwegian Institute for Air Research. And we've done PM 2.5 studies since 2010. We did a pilot. We did a phase 1 looking at source apportionment, and then and source identification. And we have, I would say, a really extensive amount of PM 2.5 data, and I agree with what you said. If there's any one pollutant you should monitor, if you can only monitor one, this is the one. And here, this is a big issue. And the objective of this was to differentiate between what is natural dust and what is man-made in Abu Dhabi. We've also we have extensive database on GHG emissions for Abu Dhabi Emirate. We are one of the first agencies to do a GHG inventory at a sub-state level, and we've done 2 GHG emissions. We just completed a 3rd one. We also have a mercury emissions inventory. UAE is a signatory. We ratified the Minamata Convention, so we also have a database of mercury emissions for Abu Dhabi Emirate. We also have, like I said, air emissions inventory, and we're currently working with our partners on an ozone precursor market. So it's a lot of data that we have in the agency, and the idea is we have an integrated approach to atmospheric monitoring, because like Mazen said, you can't look at just one thing. Sometimes there's a correlation of these various pollutants. And the approach you take to air quality management, just to reiterate, is robust data and scientific evidence. We place a lot of emphasis on strong partnerships at the local, federal, and regional level. And we do this in order to promote sustainable development. Thank you.
Time is running. Any question?
We have question first. We talk about weighted average. Some indicators to calculate it, we need to have the population for each station as representative, then to calculate the situation in the whole country. Do you do the weighted average, or how we can have the results at weighted average to have indicator of the whole country? This is the first point. Second point, when you talk about 2.5 here, do you publish the results? Is it the result available and we can have it? Another question is, all studies you have, is it available and we can load it or we can have it? The studies you mentioned here. Thank you.
Okay. So let me answer the second and the third question first, and then I'll ask for more clarification about the first one. So for the PM 2.5 studies and the other studies that we've done, these are studies that are available in the Environment Agency as a government entity. You're from the federal government. If you request these studies, absolutely, we can share them with you.
At monthly level?
Sorry?
You have at monthly level or annual results?
For PM 2.5?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are 2 things. There's the study, the PM 2.5, this is chemical speciation study and so on and so forth. This is separate from the ambient PM 2.5 that we monitor. So this data is available. The ambient data is available, and we report this to the federal ministry on a monthly basis. Yeah, but the way we report it is on the averaging time is according to the ministry's limits. Yeah, so this data is available from the Ministry of Climate Change and Environment. And in terms of the first question, I think I don't quite get it. If you can just repeat it.
I ask about if you calculate the country average of emission, or you need to have weighted average. Weighted mean each station, you need to know what is the area representative of this station.
In terms of population?
Yes, population.
Okay.
Then after that you make weighted average at the country level, because some indicators, when we talk about competitiveness, SDGs, many indicators, even WHO, they ask about this type. So when we try to reply to them or to calculate. We didn't have the results. When you provide us this results, as example, it's supposed to be as this station from Sabah, this station from remote area, this station from industrial, this station from residential area.
Yes.
And finally, we need, if we want to calculate one indicator related to the population, it will be combined for the whole country. Each station with the number of population representative area,
Okay.
then you calculate the weight. This is what I mean.
Yeah, I get it, yeah. No, we do not do this. We report the data coming from the station. But I think this is something that can be discussed between yourselves and the Statistics Center.
Yeah.
Is here? Yeah. And yeah, maybe this is something you can discuss with SCAD and also include us, and we'll be happy to help.
Would you be willing to take one question from the internet audience?
Yeah, I think with that, let us close because the other groups are waiting for the room.
Okay.
So very quickly, we've had a question from Helena Deit. Would a private industry be able to access the data?
Private industry.
Private industry as opposed to government agency.
To access our air quality monitoring data? Yes, absolutely. One thing I can confidently say, and we have our database people here, Environment Agency Abu Dhabi is very transparent when it comes to monitoring data. We have a very easy and quick application process, and we share our data. One of our clients, our biggest clients, is private consultants, consultants who are engaged in environmental impact assessments and so on and so forth. So yeah, this data is available. You just have to apply and sign a confidentiality agreement depending on the type of data it is.
Very good. There are more questions, but perhaps the organizers can share them with you and you might answer the
Absolutely.
questions directly.
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Chairman.